taking the new topic because we are going to open the second part of word formation. It's very important that we get familiar with the rest of the suffixes and prefixes, and the next section is going to be very interesting, very similar to the noun formation and the verb formation. So let's stick over here. We have already seen phrasal verbs. We are going to continue with phrasal verbs later, but right now we are going to go directly to forming adjectives by opening a new video. All right. This video is called Do I Have ADHD? And we are going to, well, the topic, if you are not familiar with the word ADHD, here we are talking about mental health. So ADHD is an acronym that stands for, I don't remember. Let's go.
I think Jesse might know.
Yes, you might know, really. Do you know what ADHD is, Jesse?
Yes, but I am not sure if I can explain in English.
Try to.
Yes, I think when you don't pay attention for a period of time, and maybe you can have a lot of energy, something like that.
Which is a mental, some people call them disease, other people call them just a little variation, but the name includes the word disease because it's ADHD is the acronym for ADHD. Where is the acronym? Jesus Christ. Attention Deficit and Hyperactivity Disease. I don't know where is the information, but I just had a lucidity moment. You know, attention deficit and a hyperactivity disorder. ADHD. Right? Have you ever gotten a test on ADHD? Anyone?
No, not me.
That's not common in Mexico.
Me neither.
Me neither. Exactly.
Me neither.
It's not common in Mexico. We don't care about attention deficit in people. Very few parents actually take the interest on knowing if their son or daughter has a disorder like this. But in the United States, you have no idea how many students and young people are diagnosed with a positive ADHD issue, which is a very interesting thing because a lot of kids are getting prescriptions for medicine that alters directly what's going on in their brains, in their attention, in the way they study, the way they socialize, and everything. There is actually a song from Billie Eilish called Sunny. Do you know that one?
No. How is it? How is it called? What's the name?
The name is Sunny.
Honey. Oh, okay.
And Sunny is an informal name for a medicine called I think it's Centrex.
Oh yes.
Is it Centrex?
No, I think no. But
No,
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Probably Jimena knows.
Xanax?
Xanax? Is it Xanax?
I don't remember.
Xanax with X.
Yes.
Yes. That one. Xanax is a prescription that a lot of people in the United States, especially young people under 18 years old, get prescribed in order to to facilitate their lives as students. And Billie Eilish is singing in this particular song. She says, "I don't need a Zanny to be better." It's like so emotional and very interesting because it's so common in the United States. You see 15-year-old, 13-year-old people taking their Zanny, you know? So of course, a lot of people agree. A lot of people disagree. What do you think? What is your yeah, what do you think about this?
I didn't know it, teacher.
You didn't know about Zanny? For real?
Yes,
It's because in Mexico it's not common. It's crazy how we don't care about
and
mental.
it's a wrong practice. Take Xanax.
Mm,
It's a
some
question.
okay. So then okay, formulate your question because I thought it was an affirmation.
Yeah, it is a
It
wrong.
is. That's an affirmation. Switch.
Yeah, is it a wrong question? A wrong practice? Uh, consume take Xanax.
Excellent question. So no, this is completely legal, and of course it is prescribed by an specialist. And a
Okay,
specialist gives you the prescription if it's necessary. Usually we are talking about psychotherapists and psychiatrists who have
but
the
but can you use the Xanax like a drug?
yep, which is
You
the
know,
interesting part.
like there's a documental Netflix,
Mhm.
Netflix,
Documentary, watch out.
Netflix documentary, and uh, take your pills.
Yes, I saw it. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So you know about this situation. Yes, you have seen this.
yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I just know about it, but
Watch it.
I I haven't seen it
So
yet.
interesting. So interesting, you know? It's like they tell you about all the all the like how different is education life, school life in the United States compared to our schools in Mexico. It's so crazily different. It's talking about drugs, it's talking about security, safety, it's talking about guns. It's like so bizarre, so different. And one of the most common things is this medicine. That's why Billie Eilish sings that
Okay.
song. You should listen to this. And it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. Like there's no doubt that Billie Eilish win a Grammy because her songs are amazing. You should
Okay.
watch it. Yeah. Anyway,
She's amazing. She's amazing.
she is amazing. Yes, yes, I know. Like Billie Eilish, amazing in many many ways. But precisely the
First
thing
thing,
that first thing, yes, that was my question. What do you think about all these prescriptions for mental health? Are they necessary? Have you ever needed any of them? Do you
are
take any
really
of them?
necessary.
Tell me about it, Jimena. What do you have?
About okay, the prescription in some diseases
Mhm.
are really necessary because we are talking about natural disorder, natural no chemical disorder. Sometimes there are some molecular factors interviewing in this disorder
Mhm.
cannot solve the problem naturally. They need to with 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 other with ¿cómo se dice fuentes? How do you say
In English, in English, in English, in English.
Ah, sorry.
Fuentes, sources.
Sí. I think this is important to take like a critical manner to ingesting this drug, but
Yes.
this is not necessary in all the cases. That's the difference. I think there are a lot of mistakes in the aware of a diagnosed. No, doing. I don't know how to say that.
Watch out. The word that you are looking for is because there are two verbs that you are needing here. The word is diagnose, which is a verb. The action is to diagnose. And the result of when you diagnose is a diagnosis. No, diagnosis.
Diagnosis.
Diagnosis is the act, right? The act of discovering and identifying an illness. Diagnose is to say what exactly an illness is. So one thing is the verb and another thing is a noun.
Diagnose is the verb.
Then what are the what did you say about the mistakes?
They have this
Okay, I lost you. There are connection problems. I cannot hear you. Are you there?
yes, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, because you're intermittent. Your connection is going and coming, going and coming, going and coming.
Really?
Yeah, but right now I
Oh.
can hear you. Can you repeat what you said about the diagnosis with the mistakes?
I think there are not other sources intervene. For example, a bad diagnosis of or use of these drugs in, for example, in the school.
I lost you. No, I cannot hear you. Your connection, girl. But anyway, that's the thing. And what Jimena is saying is like, for a little bit of context, she is an expert on chemicals because she studied something related to that. So she has a lot of context of the video that we are going to talk about. While it's very interesting how here in Mexico it's very not common to talk about this topic, and only experts can actually know what's going on. Probably some doctors, but not even doctors, even like, so probably more like chemistry related experts. But in the United States, this is a very, very usual thing, and it makes me curious about why in Mexico we are not paying attention to all these things. You know, we are not paying attention on the way our kids are going to school, or we went to school with probably this type of diseases and we don't know, or definitely we don't have anything related and we can imagine that we have a problem when actually we are healthy. So there is a massive controversy talking about this topic, and that's what I want you to learn during this week. Okay, this video is so interesting. Let's watch it together and let's talk about it. All right, check it out, guys.
Okay, so there's this question that I've been asking myself a lot lately. I'm constantly distracted. Wait. I wasn't listening. My room is a mess. I cleaned this yesterday. And I keep forgetting my keys everywhere. Do I have ADHD? And it seems like a lot of people on the internet are asking the exact same question. But the thing is, diagnosis can be a bit tricky. And the ADHD community is divided into two sides. People who think ADHD is being overdiagnosed and the people that think it's being underdiagnosed. A key criteria for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is that it shows up at a very early period of life. And that's according to the DSM, a manual published by the American Psychiatric Association. It's essentially a huge guide with standardized criteria that doctors use to diagnose mental disorders. And according to the latest edition, there are 5 big things that need to be checked off to determine if someone has ADHD. First, you need to show persistent patterns of at least 6 symptoms from at least one of 2 categories. And these symptoms had to exist before the age of 12, be present in 2 or more different settings, interfere with your social, academic, or professional abilities, and not be, quote, better explained by another mental disorder. If you do meet these criteria, the good news is that ADHD medications are super effective. You might be familiar with Ritalin. It was introduced back in 1955, and since then, more pharmaceutical companies developed new types of ADHD medication. Today, about 75% of ADHD patients respond to one of 2 types of stimulants. Methylphenidate, which is in brands like Ritalin and Concerta, and amphetamine, which is found in Adderall. But not everyone thinks this boom in drugs is a positive thing.
First of all, it's weird that a diagnosis that used to be applied to about 3% of the population to 15%. An enormous increase in the diagnosis.
This is Dr. Alan Francis, and he believes that ADHD is being overdiagnosed.
This is coincident to the drug companies coming out with new and very expensive products that gave them both the method and the means to aggressively market ADHD as a disorder, selling the ill in order to sell their pills.
According to a number of studies done in the US, Taiwan, Iceland, and Canada, the youngest kid in the classroom was way more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD than the oldest kid.
What this means is that immaturity is being turned into a mental disorder and being treated with a pill.
In 2013, the DSM's criteria broadened to include children who had symptoms by age 12, where previously it required symptoms before the age 7. This looser criteria could possibly increase the risk of more children being misdiagnosed for ADHD and put on drugs. And all drugs have side effects, even the effective ones. Studies have found that ADHD medications increase heart rate and blood pressure. Other side effects include strokes, depression, addiction. In rare cases, misdiagnosis can mean treating the wrong problem altogether.
If you make a misdiagnosis of ADHD in an adult who has bipolar disorder and give him stimulants, he'll become much worse.
On the other hand,
there is a pattern in psychiatry. If you go back to schizophrenia 60 years, people used to say that schizophrenia wasn't a psychiatric disorder. It was a choice of lifestyle. We don't have that conversation. 30 years ago, the same argument was applied to depression. We don't have that discussion. And in 20 or 30 years from now, we will no longer be having this discussion about ADHD.
This is Dr. David Goodman, and he thinks ADHD is being underdiagnosed.
In one survey, they found that 4.5% of adults in the United States likely have ADHD. But what's really striking are 2 important facts. One was that 75% of the adults presumed to have ADHD had never been diagnosed. And of those with ADHD, 45% were receiving mental health treatment, but not for ADHD.
And this is a big problem, especially for women. Women are generally harder to diagnose because while hyperactivity is more common in men and boys, inattentiveness is more common for women and girls. Boys are twice as likely to be diagnosed with ADHD as girls are, but many argue that it's not necessarily because it's more common in boys. According to psychologist Ellen Lippman, studies of ADHD were based mostly on hyperactive young boys, leading to a distorted understanding of the disorder. Dr. Goodman also argues that media portrayals of ADHD can add to a stigma that keeps people from seeking treatment.
Hi there! What's your name? My name's Abernathy Darwin Dunlap, but you can call me ADD on account of the fact that I have ADD, which...
You were just like the worst student in the world, weren't you? They said I had AD... something. Can we have class outside?
An extensive study has shown that ADHD patients who get treatment have much more beneficial academic and social outcomes in the long run than those who don't. So the real problem here isn't really whether there are too many or too few people diagnosed with ADHD. It's, are the right people getting the right treatment? And that's something that you're not going to find on the internet.
Do you Google your diseases online when you are sick?
Of course.
And what do you get? What have you? What is your experience in this case?
I will die in 5 days or something. Like that.
Exactly. Yes. Have you really ever done it, or are you saying it because of the meme?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I usually, yes, I prefer to go to a doctor because you can find a lot of information on the internet, and obviously, since we are not expert in this area, I think that we shouldn't trust on this information.
Exactly. It's definitely not the best source. It
Yeah.
doesn't. And who else actually Googles their diseases?
I think that Silvana is about to arrive, so
Cool.
maybe
So she can talk about it.
Yes.
Good. So nobody else, in the case of Rafa and Jesse, you don't Google your disease?
Yes, I used to look for
Okay.
information,
That's important.
but I am not. I am not. How do you say? I am not sure how pronounce diagnosed me.
Okay, wait. Are you talking about the verb?
Yes, the verb
Dia.
diagnostic. Diagnose.
No. Diagnose is the verb. And the other is diagnosis, which is the concept. Which
yes.
one?
I said I looked the information, but I didn't diagnose me.
I didn't diagnose myself, not
Yes.
me.
Diagnose myself, right?
That's important. I had a doctor that said, "Tell me what you feel. Don't give me a diagnosis." Because I was like, doctor, I think I have I don't remember what I told him now, but I have like the flu, and he told me, "Bro, did you come here to inform me that you have a flu, or to discover if you have a flu?" Like, oh, okay. That was a good observation, So precisely that's the issue with this type of issues. Now, in the case of Jesse, that you say that you Google your illnesses, what have you ever found something that is actually helpful, or something that is similar to what the doctor says?
Helpful.
Yeah. Do you know what is helpful?
I am not sure.
Helpful is that can help you.
Yes, but I am not. Yes, but I didn't do because I am not sure if I have this ill.
Yes, good. Illness is a concept. Well, that's precisely the interesting part. You know, it's very important to say that we Google a lot, but it's important to be sure that we are not experts. Google doesn't give you all the information, and you are not going to discover whatever you have in a sit. But the interesting part is that, again, Rafa?
With ChatGPT?
With ChatGPT, that will be even more difficult. I don't know if I would trust.
ChatGPT act like an medical expert.
That will be in very
No,
sure
no.
many people are going to use it like that.
Yeah,
Very, very sure many people are going
it's
to.
very dangerous.
Yes, imagine that. You know?
This next video looks interesting.
How I memorized an entire chapter of Moby Dick. That you can see it later. So you are not a fan of mental disorders?
I would like to have a better memory.
Well, everybody. And
Yeah,
probably it's very related to the topic, because a person with bad memory, or a person who considers have a bad memory, because sometimes it's only a lie that we believe to ourselves, we consider that we need some sort of medication. So there you have all these omegas and Pentium and all
yeah.
these things that many people take. Do you take any of that, or do you have ever
No,
wanted?
but my mom does.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
prescribed?
She has a very bad memory.
Okay.
And I would like to have a photography memory, but no,
Oof, that's a dream.
my mom. I know how is my mom, and I know why I am like I am.
I get it. I
Uh,
totally get it. Yes. But
hmm.
is it prescribed?
Yes, yes.
So that's very good, very important. That actually an expert give her the prescription.
Yes, I don't know. I think it isn't um worry thing. Yes,
I think you want to say a thing to worry,
I think
because
to worry.
worry is a verb.
Yeah, it it isn't a thing to worry. Uh, because well, she has her work, and she lives a normal life. But yes, she she has very wrong memory, very bad memory.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's precisely the thing. It's like we usually go to the doctor for something that hurts, but we never go to the doctor for prevention or for mental reasons. We usually do it for physical reasons, and that's something that we have in the culture. In the case that we have here, I don't know you, but I have always been curious to know if I really have an attention disorder, because I am very
Ah,
distracted too,
yeah, me too.
right? And a lot of people can relate. So, what did you understand on the video? Tell me, Rafa, first.
Sorry?
What did you understand about the video before we enter the questions?
Yeah, the video was about the what is a ADHD, and how professionals diagnose it.
Diagnose.
Diagnose it.
Diagnose it, exactly.
Diagnose it.
Good.
And I don't know. For example, you said you don't know if you have maybe yeah a uh this how can I say padecimiento,
English, this is.
this is this is yeah, yeah, this is uh but and they explain it how professionals the diagnosis it dia, diagnosis it diagnose it diagnose it
Okay.
and I forget what I am saying.
Yeah, because you said that it's impressive how many people who doctors or patients.
No, sorry, what?
I am trying to help you with the idea. You were saying that many people diagnose it. Many people
No.
who the many doctors or
Yeah,
many.
doctors dia have a method to diagnose it.
Okay.
And is with this if you maybe this disease affect your professional life, your uh, I don't know, family life, your scholarship life.
Probably.
Yeah, and when I read this, I thought maybe I don't have this disease, you know?
Exactly. Because you have never experienced or you have never had a bad experience at school. So
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
yeah. I forget a lot of lessons, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's levels of this disease, you know?
Precisely.
Maybe a few well, a very lower level of ADHD,
Mhm.
maybe,
Mhm.
but yes, and there's focused in this first in what is, later in how doctors diagnose it,
I didn't
and later,
understand that part.
sorry?
I didn't understand that section. No, no, no. What did you say?
Yeah, about the video.
Later in the video.
Yeah,
Okay. Later in the video, what?
um, how doctors diagnose it, and
Mhm.
later there's professional, yeah, another experts talking about how the medical consequences.
Mhm.
And yes, I got it that.
And that's pretty much it. Yes. That's precisely the thing. Exactly. That's very important that you mentioned because many people can say, okay, probably there are levels, but really, we have never seen levels, and the video talks about that. So some doctors think, according to the video, that ADHD is necessary to be diagnosed a lot. They need a lot of diagnosis because we are not having enough diagnosis. And other doctors, 50 or the other 50%, consider that it's too diagnosed. That we are diagnosing ADHD like candy, and we are giving everybody ADHD, ADHD, ADHD. You are ADHD, and you have ADHD, and then there is a massive conversation in the doctor's expert area environment. Is ADHD very, very affecting our people, or we are exaggerating? Where are we? And the issue comes in this manual, the famous DSM. The DSM is a diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders. This is one of the first books that they give you when you study medicine, when you study psychology, when you study psychiatrist. This is the Bible of these careers. And there is the debate. The debate starts over here. Now, let's go talk to Isaac. Isaac, did you relate with the problems of the girl? Do you also have these issues?
I don't know. What are we talking about?
Well, we are talking about the girl in the video.
Well, no, I don't know actually. I find a little difficult to focus on some things, but I got distracted easily. But now I think that I don't. Well, I'm not sure if I have it, but.
Because you told me at the beginning of the class you have never taken a test about that.
Yes,
no?
yes. So I think that I'm not the right person to determine if I have ADHD. But I think that it's something important because I had a friend in the high school with this disorder. And I think that maybe there could be more people with this similar disorder, and if they are not like the correct how to say treatment, maybe medication.
Oh,
the correct
no,
medication.
treatment was better.
Oh, okay, the correct treatment. Maybe they are like losing opportunities, or maybe they could have a better life quality that they are not having because the information and because this is not like a common common how to say like a common or not enough in our system to
Can
diagnose.
you get closer to the microphone because I lost you? Come on, what?
Yeah, sorry. I was saying that maybe there should be more controls or to diagnose people so they can have like a better life quality.
Yes, exactly. And how did you know that this partner that you had ADHD?
Oh, I think that, well, actually he told us because his parents take him to the psychologist, to the psychiatry, how to say the other profession?
Are we speaking in present? Do they continue doing that?
No, well, I haven't seen in a few years, but
Then you need to fix your verb, because if you're talking in past,
yeah,
you need to use what is the auxiliary for routines in the past.
I don't know, routines.
Yep, we have seen it many times in the structure handbook.
I don't remember.
Routines in the past. Help, guys. How do you speak about routines in the past? Again?
Routines in past, teacher?
Routines in past. How do you express it?
For example, with what example?
Any example about routines in the past? If you are talking about things that you used to do in the past, you need to use the auxiliary. No? Very bad. Look at this. Routines in the past. Either you can use used to or you can use would.
You
Oh, yeah, but it's not
used
but
to or would? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, you can use would.
Oh, yes. Then I think that I can say he told us that he used to go to the psychologist and
Exactly.
how to say psychiatrist. I don't remember how to pronounce it.
You're right. Your pronunciation is correct.
Okay. Psychiatrist.
Exactly.
So they help him to diagnose it correctly.
Right.
So, but I think that correct, yes, that his parents have enough money to cover also this all stuff and treatment because it was not something cheap.
Especially in Mexico, and that's precisely the reason we don't care about that. Because it's like, for me,
Yeah.
it's going to be more necessary to feel that I have physical strength and I'm physically able to go to work, to school, etc., rather than mentally able, because it's very expensive.
Yes, and yes, no, there are a lot of people that cannot afford to pay for this kind of treatment, so worry about the mental health.
Exactly.
Yes, actually, there are, well, we prefer to eat something that spend money on mental health.
Exactly. What an issue. What an issue, because it is, yeah, it's expensive in Mexico. And you touched exactly the topic that I wanted to touch. How we don't care about all this because technically mental health is expensive here. Very, very. Very interesting part. So that's the issue with ADHD. Okay? What I want you to pay attention here, guys, is, and the reason we are using this video is because the title, I know the at the beginning of the video, somewhere over here, at the end, sorry, there is the debate. The debate of the two phases of the conversation, right? People, one group of people may think that ADHD has a lot of diagnoses, all of the history of in recent times. This particular observation is called, or we can use the adjective, diagnosed as a description. Let's go to forming adjectives, and let's take two of the main ways to transform a verb into a description. If you have the word diagnose is technically a verb, right? And we saw it in the dictionary, right? Is to say exactly what an illness or the cause of it is. But then you can check that if we use the verb in past participle, diagnosed, you can actually transform it into an adjective. For example, here, he was diagnosed as a diabetic when he was 64. I want you to pay attention to that particular use of the word diagnosed. We are using the verb in past participle after the verb was. Do you agree? This means that the word diagnose is not working as a verb anymore. What is it working as?
An adjective.
An adjective. That's right. This is what we call passive voice. Remember? Here, the verb is being used as a description or adjective. We are using a passive voice structure, and the verb is transformed into an adjective. So technically, this is the first way to transform a verb into an adjective. The first one is using the past participle. Using the past participle of it, using passive adjectives. Are you familiar to this? Do you remember this topic?
No, teacher, I don't think so.
No.
You don't remember this topic? Okay, in the case of Jesse, well, Jesse, this is new for Jesse probably. But Rafa, come on, bro. This was
I'm
one of the
talking
first.
about the medical
Was it in
topic.
You spoke at the same time. I didn't.
Oh, sorry. Was it in B2 or it was previous?
Yes.
Yeah.
Often passive verbs.
Teacher, I was talking about medical.
We haven't seen that.
We haven't seen that, you liar. All the women lie. Everyone lie. Everyone.
Everything okay, teacher?
Everything okay? I don't know. You tell me. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? This is my question. Yes, when we saw about the telephone. The telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, remember? Or KFC was founded by Colonel Sanders in 1971. Here we are using verbs, but they are not working as verbs.
I'm sure that we didn't review that.
Isaac, you are lying too.
What is something of women?
Yes. Yes, Isaac, what you are changing your team. Don't support them.
Let's talk about invention. No, I don't remember this.
What are you talking about?
Yes, I remember this part. But the other slide.
We saw this, but the other no.
I gave you the screenshot like 40 times. And we talked about past participle verbs because this was part of the exam number 1. The first month of the course.
Maybe.
We saw it. Come on, you don't remember this, girl. And we saw it in Harry Potter. When we were talking about authority.
The woman that was
Shot. Past participle. She was shot. Passive voice. Okay, well, I'm going to start packing my stuff. Yeah. Because we forgot everything. That's very bad. Jesus Christ. You even had a homework. You had a homework to write passive voice in past, in present, in future, in every single time.
I wasn't in class.
Yes,
I remember that screenshot, but I wasn't present in that class.
Okay, well, Honesty is better, you see. We are practicing honesty. Thank you for being a different person. Well, welcome to passive voice again. You know, reviewing passive voice is technically we are using the verb, but as a description. You see? And in the video, we can speak about two different ways or two different things that happen to ADHD. According to many doctors, ADHD is being overdiagnosed. Overdiagnosed. This is a combination of the verb diagnose plus the D, which is the description, and then we have something else, the word over, which is giving the meaning of more than needed. In other words, according to many doctors, ADHD is being diagnosed
Underdiagnosed.
than needed. Underdiagnosed, but that's the opposite.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
You were one step ahead. We are analyzing the word over.
Yeah.
She has ADHD.
Very good. That's very bad. You know, the point here is that overdiagnosed is a combination. I want you to see that there is a combination of a verb transformed into a description with an extra syllable. And this is what we are going to analyze today. Overdiagnosed is a combination let me give you the transition. Let's analyze this. Overdiagnosed has the first syllables represent something called prefix and a combination of another thing called a suffix. The prefix, according to the dictionary, is a letter or group of letters added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning. This is interesting because the prefix changes the meaning of the word. In contrast with the suffix that only changes the word into another family. Do you understand what we're saying with the word families? Or we are kind of lost?
No, teacher.
No? What part do you don't understand?
Change the word, but you say to other family.
Exactly. Change the word to other family. Let me help you with this. At the beginning of the course, when you enter the class, we saw the word families in different colors.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So here we have, for example, the word, I don't know, communicate. Communicate is a word that is part of the verbs, the verb family. But if you, to communicate, you add shun, you obtain communication. And now this is not a verb. Now this is a noun.
Yes.
You change the word from one family to another.
Okay. Yes.
You see? This is the same case that happens to passive voice. Passive voice is very easy to understand if you analyze that a verb is transformed into a description.
Okay.
You see? Everything thanks to the suffix. Suffix, a letter of or group of letters added to the end of a word to make another word and change it from one family, one word family to another. The best example is passive voice verbs. Precisely. Right? And the prefix doesn't change the word from family. The prefix only changes the meaning of the word. Change its meaning. Do you understand the difference?
Yes, of course.
That's the one. Welcome to a new way to form new words.
Like like overrated?
Exactly. Overrated. The origin word, the base word is rate.
Right.
This is a
Yeah.
verb.
Yeah.
Rated is a description, and overrated is a description that is too much, way too rated. You know?
Yeah.
Precisely.
Okay.
That's right. In the chat we have familiar, which is a description, and then we have unfamiliar, which is a negative of familiar, the opposite. That's thanks to the prefix.
Okay.
At the same time, we have overdiagnosed, and the opposite of
Under.
overdiagnosed exactly is under. So here you have
Underdiagnosed.
underdiagnosed. The same base word with some modifications create another word. This is what we call affixes, guys. The beginning of a word and the end of the word can help you expand your vocabulary like crazy. And this is what we are going to cover tomorrow.
Okay, I didn't know it.
Welcome
Okay.
to your class again.
Yeah, it's like you know it, but you don't know how you know it.
Exactly, because
Oh,
yes,
or how it works like this.
right, correct. The issue
Yeah.
and the reason we are checking the theory and why it works like that is because in the language it's very difficult to associate this because in Spanish some of them are similar, but some of them are not. So in the next classes we're gonna see which ones are similar to Spanish and which ones are not, especially focusing on the ones that are different because they are very tricky. These ones are very, very tricky. They look similar, but they are not. So let's analyze it.
Okay, teacher.
All right. Do we have any question? A lot. Tomorrow we can talk about that.
No.
That's cool, guys. Perfect. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Good job, guys.
See you, teacher.
Bye, Jesse. See you later. Bye-bye, guys. Bye, Stonge P. Wild. See you later, guys. Bye.